In the shadow of Ultratech's laboratories, four destinies intertwine, each born of conflict, each representing a different face of the eternal struggle between control and freedom. First came Kilgore, a weapon of raw power, an unstable prototype born in fire and steel. Having seemingly gained sentience, it became a discarded relic of Ultratech's relentless pursuit of perfection. Next, Fulgore was the perfected design, cold and unyielding. More than a machine, yet less than human, the ultimate symbol of Ultratech's domination. Bound to this machine was Eagle, the lost brother of Thunder, taken, experimented upon, and imprisoned within circuits and armor. His humanity was mechanized and turned into a weapon. Standing against Ultratech was Thunder, warrior of the Ne per se, carrying the weight of his heritage, and the burning desire to discover the fate of his brother. Together, their stories form one of Killer Instinct's most powerful arcs. And so our story begins, not with perfection, but with failure. With a weapon too flawed to control, yet too dangerous to ignore. Before Fulgore became Ultratech's perfected war machine, there was Kilgore, Project UA-CCIX. In the sterile halls of Ultratech's labs, it was born out of not simply a grand vision, but also from obsession. Beaming with pride, the engineers working on the project gave it an unauthorized nickname, Kilgore. The prototype was outfitted with motor-driven chain guns, massive weapons that its creator dreamed might revolutionize warfare in the same way Richard Gatling had done centuries before. But dreams can be dangerous. The engineers' excitement would quickly turn to terror when Kilgore was activated for a test run. The targeting systems were thought so precise that one designer stood between the targets used for testing himself, trusting in the machinery's accuracy as its bullets screamed past his head. For a moment at least, the test seemed to have been a success, and then the guns began to glow red. As they overheated, the unit's teleportation systems engaged without warning, and in a heartbeat, the chamber filled with chaos. The engineer's screams were cut short, and the microphone recording the test destroyed in the storm of its malfunction. Kilgore had claimed its first victim, not on the battlefield, but in the laboratory. Most of the prototypes were scrapped. Ultratech had no room, after all, for unstable machines like this. But one Kilgore unit endured, as it showed signs that it was self-aware, and was reprogramming its own code in an attempt to fix its own overheating issues. Aria, Ultratech's AI CEO, allowed this last surviving Kilgore to remain operational, at least for study. But soon even she saw it as a liability. Its brain core was disconnected, its body boxed up and exiled to the lowest levels of Ultratech's facilities. It became a lobotomized ghost, sealed away. On the wall where it had first been assembled, an emotional employee scrawled the words, "Kilgore was here." The engineers who had spent years of their lives on the project had to watch as Ultratech moved on, developing a new line of anthropoid battle units, complete with plasma blades, and given a plume of color to make them more striking, resembling knights of yore. When the demonic Titan Gargos sought to conquer the world, Aria would reactivate the unit, only for it to go berserk and attempt to rewrite the code of several Fulgore units. The rogue machine would eventually be captured again and rebooted in order to serve Ultratech once more. Kilgore was ultimately seen as a failure, but Ultratech learned to refine and perfect the technology. From those ashes would rise their greatest weapon, Fulgore. From the ashes of Kilgore's chaotic experiments, Ultratech forged Fulgore, a cybernetic soldier born from ambition, obsession, and the desire to perfect the ultimate weapon. While Kilgore's machine was prone to volatility, Fulgore represented control. Every movement, every strike, every calculated decision was optimized for combat efficiency. Ultratech's engineers gave him a plasma cannon, energy blades, and a highly adaptive neural network, merging human-like reflexes with mechanical precision. In Killer Instinct 1994, Fulgore debuted as Ultratech's first fully operational combat cyborg, the Mark I. Sleek, armored, and designed to evoke both awe and terror, he represented the company's vision of the ultimate soldier. In the game's canon, the Mark I unit was entered into the Killer Instinct tournament to test its abilities, but met its end at the hands of the warrior monk Jago. Its destruction proved both the potential and the limitations of Ultratech's early designs. It was a marvel of technology, yet still vulnerable to human cunning and skill. In Killer Instinct 2, Ultratech activated the Mark II, a new and improved Fulgore unit. While retaining the knightly aesthetics and deadly versatility of the original, the Mark II incorporated advanced combat algorithms, a more refined targeting system, and enhanced durability. Activated following the time jump that occurred following Idol's defeat at the hand of Orchid, this new Fulgore was given one goal: find Jago and kill him. Fulgore has multiple endings in the game, depending on whether he kills Jago and/or Orchid. In each ending, the defeat of the demonic titan Gargos means Ultratech are free to develop a more mechanized future for the company and the world. If he has taken out the threats posed by both Jago and Orchid, Fulgore's vengeance is complete, and no one is left to stand against him. Bent on Armageddon, the unit displays signs of sentience, building a robotic army to destroy the world. Should he spare either Orchid or Jago, however, things play out differently. If Jago is still alive, he returns to take revenge on the advanced killing machine, the fate of the world resting on the outcome of their final battle. If Orchid lives, she returns to the future to warn people of the impending robotic apocalypse. A deadly strike against Ultratech is carried out by her fellow agents, which ensures the threat posed by the megacorporation is ended forever. If both Jago and Orchid survive, they team up and destroy Fulgore, sealing the fate of Ultratech. By the time Killer Instinct 2013 arrives, Fulgore has already entered the most advanced iteration yet, the Mark III cyborg. The culmination of decades of Ultratech research, these units trace their lineage directly back to the CCIX prototypes. The Mark III's design is deliberate and symbolic. Aria, the AI overseeing Ultratech's projects, ensured that Fulgore's form evoked the image of a medieval armored warrior, blending technological supremacy with psychological impact. Fulgore is not just a fighter, he is a walking instrument of corporate theater, designed to inspire fear in the battlefield and awe amongst the public. At the heart of Fulgore's lethal capability is the Riatusian core, a miniaturized nuclear reactor invented by Ultratech founder Riat Adams. It powers Fulgore's signature devastation beam, a concentrated energy blast capable of obliterating targets with devastating efficiency. For Ultratech, safety and secrecy are paramount. All employees who work in Fulgore's manufacturing and maintenance facilities sign extensive non-disclosure agreements, and are acutely aware of the physical risks posed by proximity to his brain core and reactor systems. But in his story, we glean a hidden hint of humanity. Once again, Fulgore's story endings are dependent on what happens during your playthrough. In one ending, he is about to land the final blow on Orchid, but the killing machine stops and displays a sign of mercy. There appears to be human memories buried deep within him, interfering with its programming. But if you play through and Ultra Orchid, any echoes of humanity are purged from Fulgore's system. Now a merciless machine, he seeks his next opponent. If you're able to get a perfect during a fight, and not Ultra Orchid, there is one Fulgore who ends up having independence and individuality. It seems that the perfected machine is not merely steel and code, for it turns out that the flicker of humanity present within Fulgore is none other than Thunder's missing brother, Eagle. Eagle grew up on the Ne Per Se reservation in Idaho alongside his older brother Thunder. A gifted student and star athlete, Eagle demonstrated a rare aptitude for machinery and technology from a young age. He was also deeply fascinated by his people's language and history, particularly the Ne Per Se War led by Chief Joseph, a story of heroism against overwhelming forces. As a teenager, Eagle embarked on a vision quest, discovering his spirit guide, an event that ignited within him a near-religious dedication to martial arts. He trained relentlessly, blending mixed martial art techniques with his tribe's traditional weapons, including the bow and whip, forging a fighting style uniquely his own. Eagle and Thunder's parents, both tribal police officers, instilled in them the belief that their family had a duty to maintain balance in the world. That duty became intensely personal when Eagle and Thunder's parents were brutally murdered near an Ultratech facility, fueling their conviction that the megacorporation was responsible. Driven by justice, Eagle entered one of Ultratech's Killer Instinct tournaments, aiming to expose the company's crimes. In combat, he demonstrated unparalleled skill and intelligence, combining strategic brilliance with the strength of his warrior ancestors. Arya, Ultratech's AI CEO, recognized his potential and staged his death, trapping him in a stasis gel tank, and imprisoned his mind in a simulation. Within this virtual world, she appeared to him as Ariana, a beautiful red-haired construct based on her creator's unborn child, studying Eagle's mind while secretly patterning it for a new Fulgore prototype. During his captivity, Eagle shared stories of Ne Per Se folklore, taught Ariana traditional stick games, and engaged in combat training, all while Arya harvested his cognitive patterns to create the core of a Fulgore Mark III unit. Alone, Eagle was eventually contacted by what he believed to be his spirit guide, warning him of his imprisonment and promising escape. This was in fact Glacius, the alien warrior, masquerading as a legendary bird of prey. Using his cryokinetic essence, Glacius shattered Eagle's stasis gel tank and spirited him away to the safety of his spaceship. Eagle required time to recover, his muscles having atrophied after years in stasis, so Glacius integrated alien technology with Eagle's body, restoring his strength and teaching him to wield new otherworldly abilities. Together, they constructed a physical manifestation of his spirit guide, a loyal bird of prey companion that aids him in battle. Now free and empowered, Eagle has sworn to bring balance to the world and ultimately destroy Arya, grateful for the guidance and partnership of his alien ally. While Eagle endured unimaginable trials and emerged transformed, his older brother Thunder remained a steadfast protector of their people, a path shaped by duty, honor, and the fires of his own unyielding spirit. Thunder is a stalwart protector of the Ne Per Se people. When he enters the Killer Instinct tournament, it's not for fame or fortune, but to uncover the fate of his brother Eagle, who went missing in the previous tournament a year ago. Despite a tireless search, there has been no sign of him. Grief and fear weigh heavily on Thunder, but after long contemplation, he comes to a grim conclusion. The worst has likely befallen his brother. And so, to honor his family, he takes up the mantle of Avenger. In Killer Instinct 1994, Thunder steps into Ultratech's tournament with no dreams of glory. Every one of his strikes is guided by vengeance and the ancient warrior traditions of his people. When Thunder finally learns the truth of his brother's fate, he mourns deeply, but takes solace in knowing that Eagle's death has been avenged. The younger warrior's soul can finally rest, though uncertainty lingers, hinting that Eagle's story is far from over, and that the bond between brothers transcends even death itself. Thunder would not appear in KI2, but his and his brother's story would be retold and expanded upon in the 2013 reboot. Once again, Thunder grew up on the Ne Per Se reservation in Idaho alongside his younger brother, Eagle. Their parents, both tribal police officers, instilled in them the importance of walking within the law, upholding honor, rejecting negativity, and striving always for balance. The brothers excelled in both school and athletics. Thunder was a mountain of a man, a powerhouse on the football field, while Eagle, lean but muscular, mastered wrestling and boxing. Yet, alongside physical strength, both were gifted with sharp minds and a deep connection to their heritage. As a teenager, Thunder went on a vision quest in the wilderness, seeking a spirit guide to help bridge the gap between the physical world and the spirit plane. Eventually, a crow appeared to him, marking the beginning of a lifelong bond. Thunder's fascination with his culture only grew. He studied the Nez Perce language, delved into folklore, and learned traditional medicine from tribal elders. His dream was to preserve his people's legacy and one day teach at the local Native American college. But tragedy struck in his late 20s. Their parents were murdered under mysterious circumstances outside of an Ultratech facility, one of the many corporate sites repeatedly fined for polluting native land. Consumed with grief and fury, Thunder drove his car through the gates of the plant, leapt into combat against the guards, and set off on a path that would see him hunted by the corporation. Disguised as a biker, he vanished into the desert, setting up camp and training in solitude. Entering the Killer Instinct tournament, he makes a deal with Ultratech CEO Arya, hoping to discover the remains of his missing brother. The outcome of his story depends on various conditions. In one ending, Thunder finds no leads to the whereabouts of Eagle. He continues to walk the path of his brother, knowing it will lead to answers or death. In another, however, Orchid reveals to Thunder that the reason he could not find his brother's body is because he is still alive. Finally, it is revealed that his brother's death had been blamed on a 600-year-old immortal, but in fact, his brother was still very much alive, his mind being used by Ultratech in their quest to create the ultimate fighter. He then faced off against a machine that had a copy of Eagle's mind implanted into it. Following the tournament, Thunder formed an unexpected friendship with the war golem Agonos, whom he calls Rockman in his native tongue. Together, at the behest of the Amazonian Maya, leader of the Night Guard, a secretive group of monster hunters, they would eventually track down the werewolf, Saberwolf, and recovered a relic vital to confronting the dark sorcerer, Khan Ra. But Thunder would have to face a threat that dwarfed even Ultratech itself, the Shadow Lord Gargos. To stop him, Thunder must navigate a dangerous path, allying with the mega corporation he still despises, and relying on the wisdom of his ancestors, the guidance of his spirit guide, and the strength of his steadfast friend, Agonos, in order to prevent the world falling into the demonic titan's hands. Thunder would once again face a cyborg built from the stolen mind of his kidnapped brother. Fighting this twisted echo of Eagle tested him like nothing else. Fortunately, Agonos was there to save him before the machine could land a killing blow. Thunder's journey is one of vengeance, duty, and the unyielding drive to protect his world and his people. The battlefield trembles beneath them, yet the struggle extends beyond the machinations of Ultratech. Kilgore, the flawed experiment, lunges with unpredictable fury. Its design is incomplete and unstable, a testament to ambition untempered by conscience. Kilgore reminds us that unchecked technology carries consequences, often violent and chaotic. Fulgore, by contrast, is sleek, perfected, and relentless. But this perfection comes at a cost. It is devoid of choice, of empathy, and humanity. In spite of the human component being used within it, Fulgore is a weapon, and weapons are meant to follow orders, not conscience. Eagle was a ghost in the machine. He embodies the human cost of Ultratech's creations. His spirit flickers behind cold optics, a life stolen and reshaped. He is both victim and warning, that progress without care consumes what it seeks to master. Through it all, Thunder remains unbroken, his resolve, forged in the traditions of his people and guided by an unyielding will, defies the cold logic of circuits and steel. He fights not just to defeat Ultratech and find his brother, but to restore. to prove that the human spirit cannot be replicated, cannot be caged, and cannot be silenced. Their battles are symbolic. Humanity will stand against manufactured obedience. Tradition will collide with technology, testing which will endure. And spirit challenges steel, asserting life, choice, and morality against cold, relentless efficiency. In this clash, the battlefield becomes a crucible. Every movement, every strike, tells a story of what it means to remain human in an increasingly artificial world defined by machines. The destinies of these four warriors are forever intertwined, going beyond mere combat. Theirs is a struggle over identity, over the essence of what it means to be alive, to be human, to resist being reduced to a weapon or a program. Their choices become declarations that spirit cannot be engineered, that courage cannot be coded, and that strength of will cannot be replicated. Ultratech may continue to perfect its machines, endlessly refining steel and circuitry, but no weapon, no matter how sophisticated, can eclipse the enduring power of the human spirit. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this lore dive into the clash between man and machine, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, and leave a comment sharing your thoughts on these characters and their epic struggles. Remember, the battle goes on, not simply for survival, but also for that
killer instinct.